What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at In the Mouth of Madness, directed by John Carpenter and written by Michael DeLuca. In the Mouth of Madness, its premises story is as follows. Sugar Cane is the best-selling author whose newest novel is literally driving readers insane. When he inexplicably vanishes, his publisher sends special investigator John Trent to track him down. Drawn to a town that exists only in Cane's book, Trent crosses the barrier between fact and fiction and enters a terrifying world from which there is no escape. That is the overall premise of In the Mouth of Madness. My thoughts on this movie? I like it. I had a lot of fun watching In the Mouth of Madness. I think this movie goes at a breakneck speed. It's never boring. It's batshit crazy in a lot of areas. It's got really cool visuals. It's got a very Lovecraftian atmosphere and feel to it, and it's backed by a really good performance by Sam Neill as this cynical investigator who is trying so hard to hold on to his sanity and does not want to believe that what he's in is a work of fiction, and he thinks everything is just reality. And the performance overall by Sam Neill, as I said, I thought he was really good in this movie. You couldn't have gotten a better actor than Sam Neill. Sam Neill just comes across in general as like an everyman, and in this movie, he's pretty much like an everyman put in this extraordinary situation that he tries to fight out of. And like I said, all throughout, Sam Neill does a fantastic job. Of the supporting cast that surrounds Sam Neill, you have Carlton Heston, you got Jürgen Perkenschau. If I said his name wrong, I'm sorry, I'm not German. You have Julie Carmen, you have David Warner and John Glover, who round out the supporting cast in this movie. And I think for the most part, most of the supporting cast is utilized really, really well, while other members of the supporting cast, they could be used a lot better. For example, the beginning of this movie is told through a flashback. Once this movie opens up, John Trent is being committed into an insane asylum, and he's pretty much being interviewed by this doctor played by David Warner. And this is where Trent recounts his story. I think Warner and Glover pretty much plays the head doctor of this insane asylum, and Warner is like more or less like a psychiatrist in a way. Overall, Glover and Warner, I think they could have had more expanded roles a little bit more, maybe because I'm a fan of both those actors. I think the prologue could have gone on maybe a little bit more so we get to know who these people are. That's just what I would have did. Carlton Heston, who plays the publisher, it's a brief role that he's in, but he does it really well. The character Julie Carmen plays Linda Stiles. I thought Carmen was good in the role. I like the fact that they don't try to force a romance between the Stiles and Trent characters because it didn't really need it. And I like how the movie didn't go down that route. But not only that, I thought Neil and Carmen, they do have decent on-screen chemistry with one another. And pretty much because a good chunk of the movie is pretty much them trying to investigate in this town called Hobbs End, which is buried in the middle of New Hampshire. Of course, it's revealed that Hobbs End is just a fictional town created by the Sugar Cane character. And it's also revealed at the end that the entire movie we just seen was actually the book that Sugar Cane had written. And it's also revealed that John Trent was a fictionalized character the entire time, which is actually a pretty cool twist and a good breaking of the fourth wall type of gimmick for the time. But I think the overall story leading up to that was told pretty well. And John Carpenter's directing this movie I thought was really, really good. Unlike Prince of Darkness, which is a movie that I just didn't really care for, I think this movie was much better. I think visually this movie looks much better. I think the writing in this movie is a little bit more stronger. I think Carpenter had a chance to really flex his visual muscles with this movie. He creates a very, really cool atmosphere with this movie, and you can tell that he's trying to do a love letter to like Lovecraftian horror and stuff like that with the surreal imagery and the Lovecraftian type of Leviathan, Cthulhu type monsters that appear very, very briefly in certain scenes in this film. You can tell that John Carpenter was trying to give this movie a very Lovecraftian feel and a Lovecraftian look. And from a visual standpoint, it works for me. John Carpenter, I thought, did a fantastic job. Michael DeLuca from the writing department, and in terms of the writing of the movie itself, I thought he did fine. There were certain things that could have been fleshed out maybe just a little bit more. But overall, I think the overall premise is very solid, and I thought the execution was a lot more fun. And also, as I mentioned, I overall think that the cast in general was pretty good in their roles. You know, Sam Neill, as I said, I liked him as John Trent. Julie Carmen was really good as Styles, and Carlton Heston, John Glover, and David Warner. Even though their roles are really small, they do get some shine. The actor who plays John Trent's friend Robbie, he's been in a lot of movies. I would have liked to see more of the relationship between Trent and Robbie get more expanded upon. That's just me. That's what I would have did. Since they only share maybe 1 or 2 scenes together, then the rest of it's just phone calls from the John Trent side of things. You know, I would have liked to have seen more of that. But hey, it is what it is. In terms of the execution of the film's violence, I thought it was really done and it had a lot of creativity to it. The gore in this movie is very, very minimal, which is what to expect from a Carpenter movie. But But like I said, this real imagery is what really makes this movie stand out, and I enjoyed that a lot. And the overall villain of the piece, Shutter Kane, who was like this Stephen King like horror author, I thought Jürgen Perknow did a great job at making at creating like this horror maestro type of character who's like a puppet master in a way. And I thought Jürgen Perknow did a really good job at playing the role of Shutter Kane. You know, I liked it a lot. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with this movie. You know, it's got a lot of good things in it, and it has a lot of so-so things in it, but overall, as a complete package, I enjoyed it. The movie is a good mind fuck, especially once it really starts to kick in, and when they get to Hobbs Point, that's where the mind fuckery of this film really starts to play, just really starts to kick in. That's where it starts to get a lot of fun with its imagery and with its premise. And overall, I recommend it. I enjoy it. So, yeah, those are my overall thoughts on In the Mouth of Madness. At the end of the day, I think I'm going to give this movie a solid 7 out of 10. I enjoy it more than Prince of Darkness. I don't think this movie is as good as John Carpenter's earlier works, but I do think that it's a gem in his filmography. It's a very entertaining movie, and I do recommend it. So yeah, those are my thoughts on In the Mouth of Madness. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.